And just that. I think so. I don't know. Let me really get this. Oh, come on, I want you to come see my information machine.
And we'll get some information on it.
You didn't hear me. Okay, Jimmy.
Okay.
We had the mayor.
What's that? Is this?
Yeah, we had.
Emma.
His wife, those are clients of ours.
So
They brought it from the machine. How much longer was the person back?
You got anything done with the floor on the west wing?
I've got pictures.
What's the holdup, man?
It's all done on the east floor. The west wing's not, because there's more offices on the west wing, there's more area. There's a third.
You won't get it in there.
Actually, yeah, we
There's
tried.
smaller rooms that they gotta do first.
And we're gonna have to get it. Jump all that.
That was really nice. I thought that. Even they'll stop it for the company that. With a lock.
It's waiting for the floor in case like somebody else doesn't want it there, but why would they want it? It's not have a lock on them. But if I wait until the floor
No. Walk for it. Walk for it. Gosh, the exterior didn't have any damage. Did they see? I think so. I put the a heater that affected like some nail area.
Oh.
So you know that like a lot of the stuff.
No, I don't. And it's the first second. And I saw you did job there, we just made her Sam down. Seeing her machine. Did you see the pictures? If you have spread the word news, occupational cremation for pets. The most 100% environmentally friendly and the directors.
option for. Just
Zoom
have
inside.
whoever wants to post all the posts.
Who's not interested, Maddie, right?
And Dee Dee.
And Dee Dee.
But I'm sure they can call in.
I seriously have some. When I was sitting there. And I was like, honestly.
And this red here, you want me to go?
It's, you know, I'm changing.
Wherever you want.
Then I got more in soft. Are we ready? So. Hopefully we hear from Mitch. I got locked out of the tweets, we give me a long pass.
They list the wrong password, tried 2 or 3 times, I tried to.
I got locked out.
Got locked out.
Locked out of the work.
His laptop, and we need that for.
Are we ready?
Hi, Chief. Hi, Chief. You're not used to that title yet, huh?
Either you were. I thought, okay, well, I put these 4 hours. And
There you go.
yeah.
Yay. Harry, how they could just get in here somewhere else.
Anywhere you are, you can get it. If you're at home.
I'm glad we went out.
I don't.
Get it. This is for WD parties. Sounded like.
See? Now, that's pretty, you didn't look it up, you was talking about it, that's the problem.
And then John are mentioning. I should have told you I was more burgundy than this.
But I'm so partial. My own visit. Our numbers.
Councilman Mandy is having a hard time connecting to the internet. So we'll see if plans in.
So if you want me to. You want me to get on to the regular meetings?
Executive is taking on that till we go.
Yeah, yeah, I want you to, you're ready to start. So we don't need. We don't need to go in.
And she, and
Good evening, everyone. The time is 6:11. Thank you for allowing us to deal with our technical difficulties. I'm gonna call this meeting to order. The regular meeting of the Espanola City Council on the second Tuesday of the month, February 14th, for the minute, please. Do a pledge of allegiance. And then the- It's your call. Counselor Benavides will lead us in invocation.
Thank you, Mayor. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight. We ask for your guidance and your grace in helping us make decisions for our community that are most important. We ask for your guidance and your grace on those individuals less fortunate, those out there struggling, our veterans, our seniors, our entire community. In your name tonight, Lord, we pray. Amen.
Amen. So, Ms. Garcia, would you please call the roll for this evening's meeting?
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez. Councilors Dennis Tim Salazar,
President.
Justin Salazar Torres,
Present.
Manuel J Martinez,
Please excuse.
Denise D Benavides, Dorothy B Valdez,
Present.
Aaron J Salazar,
Present.
Nanette D Rodriguez. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Thank you for joining us. This is a regular council meeting. Thank you for being here. Tonight, we have a couple of executive session discussions and some presentations as well. Before we do that, is the International Guards Union going to be joining us this
I
evening?
was just gonna discuss that on approval of the agenda. It was my mistake. I thought that when we didn't have a meeting scheduled, when we had the meeting scheduled for the 21st, in my mind, I thought we pushed back this meeting to the 21st, and then I learned today that I misread it and it was the 28th that was moved up, correct? So I have them thinking that they'll be here on the 21st, so can we move that to that agenda? If it's not too busy, if it's too busy of an agenda, we can push it to the first meeting next March.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna strike business with visitors this evening.
And then I'll put that in a motion form.
Hold a minute there, Coach. Do we have any other amendments to tonight's agenda?
Mayor, I'd like to motion to move the executive sessions up and maybe just bring them all together. And I'd also like to add another item to executive session to discuss and bring everybody up to date as best we can on the budget and audit.
We can't do that because it.
I can talk about that in my.
Yeah, he can do that in his public report, but we can't do that as executive session.
I'll second that.
So
Okay, so hold a minute. We want to move all the executive sessions up. The reason why we have two executive sessions is we have this attorney for this pertaining to this case. We need to handle this at the beginning of the meeting. The remaining one is later on for the meeting. It's not where we have a contract attorney on hold for that one. That's why.
you have a contract attorney, is he already in
No,
the
it's
meeting right now?
the insurance attorney.
Is he in, we're not paying him by the hour.
Yeah, we are. That's the reason we did that one in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, this one right here,
Yeah,
that's the
first
reason why,
executive
okay,
session.
I understand.
So that's why, because this other one, the bottom one is regarding with our own attorney.
Does it matter to you that we don't do both at the same time?
We did it based on just financial basis to try to get that contract, the insurance contract to the attorney in and out as soon as possible. They're not here, they're on Zoom.
Jay might wanna take his wife out on a Valentine.
They can.
I mean, the other two items are really gonna be, they're gonna be really short, so they shouldn't take that long.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'll put it in motion and motion for their amending the agenda, moving business with visitors, the recognition of the International Guard Union of America Local 69 to the next meeting, Madam Clerk, either if the agenda is not too full, if not, the first meeting in March, please let me know by Friday, okay? And then moving the latter executive session, item number 13. Personnel issue regarding Espanola Police Department Lieutenant and the contract of the city manager. Those items be moved up to be heard in executive after the threatened or pending litigation in the case of George Martinez versus City of Espanola under the executive session area, and then everything follow beyond number 8.
I'm happy with that as a second.
So let the motion reflect, we're going to consolidate executive session. We're going to table business with visitors to February 21st. That's the gist of the motion, correct?
Yes.
All right, we have a motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez, second by Councilor Justin Salazar Torres. Ms. Garcia, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez,
Yes, ma'am, in favor.
Councilors Dennis Tim Salazar,
For the motion.
Justin Salazar Torres,
In favor.
Denise D. Benavides, Dorothy D. Valdez,
For the motion,
Aaron J. Salazar,
In favor.
Nanette D. Rodriguez. Motion carries.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, motion is adopted. Amended the amended agenda for you. Can I get a motion to enter into executive session? Hold a minute. We're in the Mexico open meetings section. Ms. Garcia. Pursuant to New Mexico Open Meetings Act, NMSA 1970, section 1015(1) F subsection. Pursuant to the attorney-client privileges pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the public body is or may become a participant. Threatened or pending litigation in the case of George Martinez versus the City of Espanola, case number, personnel issues regarding Espanola Police Department, lieutenant, and contract of the city manager. Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez, second by Councilor Justin Salazar Torres. Roll call, Ms. Garcia.
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez,
In favor.
Councilors Dennis Tim Salazar,
For the motion.
Justin J. Torres,
In favor.
Denise D. Benavides, Dorothy D. Valdez,
for the motion,
Aaron J. Salazar,
In favor.
Nanette D. Rodriguez.
Councilor Valdez, we're gonna be logging on to executive session in the next 5 minutes.
So. They're like so disrespectful. Yeah.
I like that.
Well, he might want to go to date with his wife. Well, I'd like to go home to my husband. Yep. Oh. Oh, my goodness, she heard, I said, I think her on her post. I didn't tell you about that, I heard about it from somebody. So either he told her, she saw it, well, he probably told her. So apparently she's quite upset that I said that she is not, she's like a ghost, she's not visible. And I went, and really?
Madam City Clerk,
They're in back.
no, Okay, I just want to remind you that the microphones are all on. Whatever you're saying is being heard by the radio and everyone on Zoom.
Okay, we're disgruntled because we have to wait for them to get out of executive session.
So I understand. I just wanted to remind you that the microphones are on.
So, let everyone else hear it too. If you're a member of the public, you have to wait.
Just saying. So.
I could hear everything you're saying, just to let you know.
That's fine. I'm not hiding it. You have 3 city employees sitting in here who are listening to every word I say. I'm not hiding it. Anyways. So. We'll see who all shows up. To the spring cleanup. So. Which you
We broadcast. Good evening, everyone. It is 8:27. Yeah, we're gonna convene from executive session.
Executive session, sir.
Motion made by Councilor Justin Salazar Torres, second by Councilor Denise Benavides. There was no action taken in executive session for this evening.
Sir, I'd like to make a motion to remove the discussal approval resolution 2023-06, amending the city manager contract to be pushed to potentially March.
Okay, all right. Motion made by Councilor Justin Salazar Torres, second by Councilor Dennis Tim Salazar. Ms. Garcia, would you, forgive me, we need to take a motion, a roll call to exit out of executive session, and then we'll vote on this motion. It's on the slide. So, Ms. Garcia, please take the roll to exit out of executive.
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
Motion made.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez, exit out of executive session.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yes, second by Councilor Rodriguez. Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez. The councilors Dennis Tim Salazar,
For the motion.
Justin J. Salazar Torres,
For the motion.
Denise D. Benavides. Dorothy D. Valdez,
For the motion.
Aaron J. Salazar, Nanette D. Rodriguez. Motion carries.
Okay, now we have a motion on the floor by Councilor Justin Salazar Torres, second by Councilor Dennis Tim Salazar to remove action item. That's action item 12A, discuss approval of resolution 2023-6, amending the city manager contract. Any discussion? No discussion.
Under discussion,
Under
Mayor, this
discussion, Mayor
is
Pro Tem.
gonna come back as soon as the council receives the information that we feel like we want prior to this, correct?
Yes. Any further discussion? Ms. Garcia, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez,
In favor.
councilors Dennis Tim Salazar,
For the motion.
Justin Salazar Torres,
In favor.
Denise D. Benavides, Dorothy D. Valdez,
For the motion.
Aaron J. Salazar,
favor.
Nanette D. Rodriguez.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna move forward with the consent agenda for this evening.
Move to approve as presented, sir.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez, second by Councilor Annette, was that right?
Yes.
Councilor Annette Rodriguez. No discussion on a consent agenda. Ms. Garcia, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue
In
Martinez,
favor.
the councilors Dennis Tim Salazar,
For the motion.
Justin Salazar Torres,
In favor.
Denise D. Benavides, Dorothy D. Valdez,
For the motion.
Aaron J. Salazar,
In favor.
and Nanette D. Rodriguez.
Motion.
And
Motion carries.
just want to bring up as discussion for this item, I want to applaud Miss Elizabeth Martin for catching us up on the minutes. The prior person who we had doing the minutes had committed to us, didn't follow through, and so we're playing back on some of these June 23, but I commend her because last month is already done now, so we're caught up now going forward.
Not completely, but we're,
Well, we are, because those are the last two meetings for this year.
I think,
The
we
June,
still, some, I'll check.
no, for this going forward.
Oh, yeah, going forward. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes, Okay, Ms. Garcia, public comment is 2 minutes this evening and they have to sign in.
Cynthia Lentini.
Good evening, I'm Cynthia Lentini, I reside at 209 South Coronado Avenue. I'd like to start with a quote. Within the public lies the true power and future of a society. Therefore, whatever trust citizens place in its officials must be respected. I would just like to say, number one, that I find it really disrespectful that we were forced to wait here for 2 hours. Executive session could have been done after public comments. My time is no less valuable than the city attorney's time. And I'm not paid to be here. I'm here strictly as your constituent. I'd like to bring up 2 things. A quote from November 18th from the city manager. We're not going to kick them out to the Santa Fe New Mexican regarding the Santa Clara apartments. November 30th from the city manager. The city is not responsible for these people. They were evicted by the landlord. The city never served an eviction notice. Why was the city even there? That's what I would like to know. And to this day, I have not gotten an answer. We now have residents that once resided in the Santa Clara apartments who now are out on the street, literally out on the street. I'd like you to consider that because it's one of the things that I brought up to not only Senator Leo Jaramillo, but also to the Lieutenant Governor. Why can't we not get answers from this council? You are in possession of the public trust. Okay, what power you have is what power we have given you. Answer our questions. Leo Jaramillo had to step in and so did the Lieutenant Governor because I've been sending the city manager, the mayor, emails regarding trash service for 4 months. Do you think it should take 4 months to receive an answer? I am a member of your constituency. Whether you like me or not, whether you like what I have to say or not, doesn't matter. I'm still a resident of this city and I demand answers.
Bethany Bradley.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So first, I want to mention to you guys why I say what I say every single flipping month about prayer and have yet to be respected. Imagine yourself or your child, boy, girl, doesn't matter, 8 years old, trusting a Catholic priest. Next thing you know, you're waking up in a basement of that priest above you, molesting you. Wasn't just me, but it was multiple people. Your prayer triggers me, and that's unfair. And I've asked you multiple times. Why can't you take a moment of silence so everybody can pray on their own mentally? Why can't you not bring up God, Jesus Christ, and all that other stuff? That is religious. Higher power would work. That has been brought up to you guys multiple times, actually by a few people, including those wonderful women who feed the homeless, even said they would respect my feelings and say higher power. So that's why I feel the way I do. I also have reached out to a lawyer and I will be reaching out to him tomorrow. And at the next city council meeting, I really hope you keep your prayers to yourself. Also, coming here, I'm driving down Riverside Drive. A lady is walking, 3 dogs. Not one of them has a leash on them. One jumps in the street and I almost hit it. And we all know how much I love animals, and the fear in my eyes was unbelievable. A few weeks ago, I picked up a dead puppy over by the Smoker's Choice place, right underneath that Seneca sign. The puppy had stayed there overnight. People in this community walked past a dead 5-month-old puppy and left it there to freeze on the ground. I picked it up.
Time's up, Miss Bethany.
Why do I get 2 minutes when I can spend 2 hours in back? We should get the 3 minutes that we're supposed to get. That's unfair. We've been sitting here for 2.5 hours waiting for you guys. To cut me short is not right.
Efraín Hernandez.
There's so much about this.
Good evening, greetings, members of the city council body, civil servants, mayor. Mayor Pro Tem. I'm here tonight as an advocate for the folks from the Santa Clara Apartments whose time ran out at the hotels and have still not found housing. Tonight, we found Matthew Rabatoy sitting on the ground outside of the Pathway Shelter. The shelter's closed tonight. Jesus and Elaine have had to pay $105 for a night at another hotel. These are the folks, these are only a few of the folks we could find. Others are on the streets, and I'm asking the city to consider opening up a city-owned building for these folks until viable housing can be found for them. Our nonprofit is willing to work one-on-one with all of these folks to get them through the process of obtaining housing. But in the meantime, they need someplace to stay. On another topic, as we continue to advocate for the homeless on the streets, I am going to continue to push for the repeal of the solicitation ordinance, because restricting homeless persons' ability to ask for alms runs afoul of the First Amendment and is the direct cause of the increase in crime in our city. I'm going to quote, in 2017, the city of Albuquerque passed a similar ordinance, and that ordinance instigated a lawsuit by the ACLU, which I have brought up as a potential here. A lawsuit which resulted in the demise of that ordinance by senior U.S. District Court Judge Robert Brack, who stated, in sum, pedestrian safety is a concern and a valid government interest in Albuquerque. Pedestrians who choose to stand, seek donations, or hand out leaflets in any area will increase physical proximity to vehicles benefits. Their expressive activity may be taking one or more risk than individuals who choose to do so from the sidewalk. Still, prohibiting all access to these spaces on the grounds that Albuquerque struggles with troubling high rates of pedestrian vehicle conflicts without presenting any evidence beyond anecdotal and personal speculation that the ban would actually reduce the number of such conflicts in the city, and that less
Thank
time
you, sir.
restrictions
Thank you for your time.
would not suffice. Runs afoul of the First Amendment. Thank you.
Ms. Garcia.
That would be it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for all participating in public comments this evening. You know, and we're not doing business, visitors, councilor comments. Councilor Justin Sarsako.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day to my wife and my daughters and my hito. I just want to say that we're here in our meetings, but want to spend time with them. So happy Valentine's Day to them and everybody else. Thank you.
Councilor Jenny's gonna be.
Just really quick, I know, Councilor Manny Martinez wasn't able to be here tonight, but he had asked me to look into the lodger's tax, monies, to see if it did come out of that particular line item for the Hispano Music Awards. It did indeed come out of that line item. However, in the past years, it has come out of that line item. However, a lot more money in the past, not a lot, but more money has come out than it did this time, because previous, we were a sponsorship, this time we're not a sponsorship, so I just want to say that. And then, in addition, we hope to have a finance committee meeting this coming month. And in addition to that, I
Could we
will,
have a finance board meeting better than a
Yes.
finance committee?
yes, absolutely, yes.
That's clerk schedule it, please.
Yeah, and then I just, I'll go comment a little bit on the individuals from the Santa Clara Apartments. The ones that at Motel 6, I believe there was 5 of them. Today was the last day for them to be there. The ones over at River Inn, I think there was a couple there. Tomorrow's the last day for them. And so those ones are yet to receive any type of housing. We were able to assist 12 of them with housing. We had moved on to 15, but we had to, 3 of them kind of fell through the cracks, and so we're back with assisting those 3. It's a huge task. I don't think anybody understands the the task that's at hand and assisting some of these individuals with housing training. We've gone to the extent of meeting with judges. We've gone to the extent of filling out job applications. We've gone to many, many extremes to assist each individual tenant with what their particular needs are. And in order to tackle the homeless population, we have to get our hands dirty. We gotta figure out what their individual needs are. And I'm happy to report that of all those housed today, they're working. The mothers that have children, CYFD provided babysitters for them so that they can be out there working. They're all doing well. Those that needed 12-step programs have those programs. They're doing extremely well. We were able to get furniture donated. We got washers, dryers donated. We got people that come set them up. We got dishes donated. Everything that we could possibly get that they needed, we got. And so I'm happy to report that they're safe. None currently are housed in Espanola. I'll say that as well. And the reason for that is because we just don't have the services and the facilities here to further assist them down their journey. We want them to be successful, right? And that's the goal. And we continue to, I'm still working with a couple right now, and as soon as I'm done with them, I think there's a few left. I know we had a conversation earlier before the meeting, and we'll just continue down that path until we can get them what they need. The voucher process is slow. There's confusion between the load letter and the voucher and what each one of them does. So we're trying to clarify that as we go and as we house individuals. It's been conversations with vice presidents of some of these apartment complexes to get individuals in. I mean, it's been numerous hours and phone calls. And, you know, while we can't help everyone immediately, we can strive to do the best that we can. You know, it's not the city's job to be there. However, I take a vested interest in it because it's what I love to do. And I feel like it's my calling. It's what I'm called to do daily. So I'm going to continue to do as much as I can to assist the individuals. And so I'm happy to report. I know when it all happened, there was a hearing to condemn the property. It solely was not the city's, it wasn't only our choice to do that. There were other mitigating factors. And those that are housed currently today see that and are so happy that they're in the place they're at today with the service that they have today. So with that, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank City Clerk Debbie for taking this as needs to get us through the also, I request for the city next time we have a meeting on Valentine's Day, maybe we can wear the lights, put candles or something. Thank you, that's all.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. You know, before I sat down between the executive session and reconvening our meeting, and talking to Pastor in the back, he's telling me that the homeless shelter is only open 2 days a week.
4 days.
4 days out of 7.
Yeah,
So
actually, I'm working with the shelter and that's incorrect. They're gonna be closed on Tuesday nights and Saturday nights. They will be open 5 nights a week. They lost 2 staff members today, and that was due to an assault on the premises. And working with the homeless can have a severe impact on our self-esteem and on our self-care. So honestly, working at a homeless shelter, if we can get someone to work there for 30 days, it's huge because it's not an easy job to do.
thank you for clarifying that. So Tuesdays and Saturdays, they are not open because they're understaffed, but the plan is to staff that.
Yes, the plan is to staff that, and they are trying to make up for that loss. Unfortunately, this week it was too short notice, like it happened really quickly, but they are trying to reschedule. So I will have more information, which I can share with the council by next week on what the closures, if any, there will be.
I really feel like there are certain things that you're very passionate about in this community, and I respect that more than you probably realize. But I also feel like there's things that we can work together on, and I really would rather focus on that than things that we're not working together on. So I'm interested in this situation and us as a community figuring out if we can provide some type of partnership while the homeless shelter is not able to open on these 2 days. Is there anything available? How many people are normally staying there? What does that look like? Realizing that we would have to encumber a lot to do this, and it would cost us a staff member to be there at night. You understand that? So I would just like Jordan to come up with something as far as what you think the numbers would look like. And then I'd also like to work with you figuring out how long you think this is gonna be and how long it's gonna last for. And then possible sites, maybe if it's only 10 people, maybe just the atrium at the Lucero Center instead of the whole gym. I don't know, because there's no bathroom in the front part of the building, so I don't know, but let's look at ways that we can work together on this situation for sure, okay? Just at least presenting something and seeing what was.
What's going on with the transitional housing that currently we supposedly have in the city? Does anybody know that?
Can I speak on that?
No. Counselor Dennis.
I'll just say really quick that Santa Fe County was reached out to. We currently added the hotel to our ICIP list so that we could provide over $1 million to refurbish, because it's in really dire straits, that old hotel, so that we can refurbish it and make it a lot more user friendly, correct? And but what I will say is that Pathway Shelter is a HUD, or should be a HUD run facility, because they accepted COC funds. That being said, they could be getting money for operating costs, they could be getting money to pay for their employees. None of that should be coming out of their pocket at all. And MFA will also provide grants to pay for those employees and expenses. And they'll pay for bus tickets. I mean, there's a ton that if the shelter was being run correctly per those standards, they could have a lot more, and there really wouldn't be a need to be closed, because they would get assistance from other shelters throughout the state. So, I mean, I think it's just a matter of them being educated. But I think they were closed last Friday too, because we tried to send somebody over there. Yeah, they were closed as well. And so, and the other thing to that is, I know puppies keep saying that they're open, but they're really not open, because let me tell somebody that, and they're not. So we really, really need to get them to, to have a schedule. And I know things happen that, but I think if they can get themselves on the right path, working with HUD, and, they can work with the coalition to end homelessness, that'll get them on that path. Then they can have the funding resources that they need. I mean, and it's cool, actually.
But back to transitional housing, you understand that we need to renovate and update things, is it open now? Are there people living there?
In my understanding, there are individuals living in the hotel, and they can speak to that, but transitional housing and HUD views and my views are totally different than Pathways. Pathways calls that hotel transitional housing. I do not. That's not transitional housing. There's a way to get you from a homeless shelter to transitional housing, and they're not there yet. So, I believe they're letting individuals stay there so that they can house, but they're not really in transition.
But what's the process to do that? So we have people that need housing, and we have a place where people can be housed, but currently they're not. So what's the process?
Well, I think it's full from what I heard the last time.
Transitional, the
hotel. Yes.
Now, what we're currently dealing with is that we're down 3 roofs in the hotel due to renovations that are required, because most of the plumbing in the city is over 50 years old, as we all are very much aware. The transitional housing right now, we are being funded by this county of Santa Fe. Leo Jaramillo has sponsored us for capital outlay funding in order to proceed. So we are moving forward with actually getting those funds. I am now the grants manager for the homeless shelter. So I can tell you that we are working on that on that funding that you were talking about. Another thing that we are working on right now is actually getting our operational procedures down. Okay, actually getting our CEO to not be the one running the shelter and actually there at night, manning the beds and monitoring. So those are some of the things that we have in place right now. And then as far as the transitional housing is concerned, in the substance abuse prevention field, it kind of is transitional housing because we're getting them off the street, we're getting them into detox. Once they detox, then once they have 6 months of proven sobriety, they can go into the transitional housing where they receive full wraparound supports, including a case manager. And this is to enable them to go at least a full year with sobriety, getting a job, moving forward, getting the treatments that they need, getting that mental health treatment that they need, and then transitioning into a small place of their own. Now, the only problem is that in the city of Española, there is no low-income housing. And people are being forced to pay $1,500 a month to rent a hovel. So that's the problem that we're facing. The other problem that we're facing is that we don't have a list of community volunteers that are willing to come in, willing to put in the time. It's very hard to keep a homeless shelter staffed because let's face it, most people don't want to see it. Most people would prefer to turn away or to lock them up and put them in jail and not have to do it. That's the honest truth. So it is very difficult to maintain the staff. Because of the level of anxiety, violence that is demonstrated when we have active users that are outside in the streets of our community smoking their fentanyl, then they want to come into the homeless shelter to sleep. That's where we have a problem because we need at least 2 or 3 people and the training that is required, it's not just, okay, here you are, you have a job, here are the keys, show up. They require CPR training, they require Narcan training. Last week alone, they had to resuscitate 3 of their clients. Okay, that's a whole lot. And when you have to bring someone back to life, do you really want to come back to work the next day?
So if you can look into the HMIS system and the training for that, that'll help you with your funding that you need. And you're gonna find that HUD won't allow somebody that's addicted or that just finished smoking something to come into shelter and stay there that night. So that's something else that, you know, all those things will come as you go further in your training, right? And so there's steps to follow for that, right? And I will say that there is housing in Española, but it's taken up by all these people from Santa Fe that are on the waiting lists from Santa Fe. So I think that's a conversation we need to have with Santa Fe Civic Housing for one, right? And Santa Fe County is already looking into housing individuals from our area at the McCurry facility instead of Santa Fe residents. So we're already going down that path with that facility, but it is something that needs to be looked at.
And I had plans on reaching out to the entire council this week because we do need your support. We need your support. We need to know that you're behind us and that you're backing us. But that also requires you to answer emails and answer phone calls, all of you.
And I will say that I did reach out to you. I reached out to Cynthia because I do see her potential and I do see her passion. And I do see that little stubbornness of hers. She won't let something go. And you know, that's the type of person you need in certain types of positions, right? And you have to have this conversation. So yeah, Mayor Pro Tem's exactly correct. We need to use you in the proper way, right? To work together to accomplish a lot of things.
And just so you know, I'm committed.
Thank you.
Committed
Thank
to
you for that.
working with you and trying to solve the issues that we have in our community.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Because we are moving forward in the community. The community is developing our coalition, our homelessness task force amongst ourselves, amongst the nonprofit organizations. And we're trying to just maximize what few resources we have for our community. But we need to align with this city government. We need you on our side. We need you to talk to us. We need you to answer emails. We need you to answer phone calls.
Okay, hold a minute, folks. We're getting like way off a diatribe. If you need Councilor Benavides, defer to Ms. Lentini, and that's fine, but we just can't have everyone jumping in. Yeah, we have to, this isn't an agenda item, this is still councilor comments, okay? Are you done, Ms. Lentini?
Yeah,
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
I'm good.
Does anyone else have any council comment? I apologize, it's just getting late, folks. All right. I'm gonna move on now to mine. Thank you, Councilor Benavides. I apologize. I had no idea that that was put out a lot of stuff. I thought it was put out sponsorship. How was the event this weekend that community development paid for? How was that table paid for?
I believe it was a line item on their budget.
Okay, all right. That's what I had understood. Okay.
For clarification there, it was $1,000, correct?
For the, yeah, yes.
Correct? And
Yes.
normally before, we took out 5,000.
Yeah.
Before.
Yes, correct.
That's why I thought it was a sponsorship item, because I thought it would be like a line item.
Can we make an adjustment and bring that back and take that money out of sponsorship?
So actually, on that aspect, I'm gonna defer to him later on, because I guess apparently according to the ordinance, a certain amount, is my understanding.
Yeah, there's a certain amount that can be used of lottery tax about board approval, so.
It's when it's going to another entity. And so that's where the confusion happened in the aspect where it should have gone, that one should have, because it went to another. entity. But that's why I was under the understanding it was a sponsorship. But I think I have to do that since it did come out of our tax. I wanted to update you all on the legislature. We've been working really hard. Our lobbyist team has been securing a lot of money. Tentatively, it looks like we might get around $1 million from the legislators themselves. For much needed projects at the top, one of them Silky Way, the North Prince Drive Sewer Line Comprehensive Study. Those seem to be projects that are getting on board. We've gotten support from Representative Christine Chandler, Representative Susan Herrera, Senator Leo Jaramillo, Representative Joseph Sanchez, Representative Tara Lujan. We've made some good significant strides. Again, I will update you. We plan to receive hopefully a very large allocation from the governor's office. We don't know what that will probably be announced by the end of the week. As soon as we get that announcement of what we're going to be receiving for capital outlay from the governor's office, I will send out an email to all of you, but it seems to be a good amount of money. We have also been lobbying for return to work legislation for all municipal employees, public safety, public works employees. That aspect is based on an employee has to be out a year and can come back into the workforce for up to 3 years from that point. The PRA is really pushing this, and the executive branch, the governor's office is really pushing this as well. We believe that this would greatly support the city of Espanola in the aspect because us being so close to Santa Fe and Los Alamos is a big detriment to us. And so if we're allowed to bring back retired police officers, retired public works employees to work for us, it would be very beneficial for us going forward to at least staff our workforce for at least up to 3 years, hopefully, after COVID subsides and the benefits that have been provided to employees at that point. New legislation was introduced also yesterday by Representative Susan Herrera and Senator Leo Jaramillo. That's House Bill 399. That's introducing a resolution to the state of New Mexico that any county over the size of 35,000 in population will go immediately from a 3-member county commission to a 5-member county commission. For many years, the people of Weiraba County have stated that Weiraba County having a 3-member commission has been extremely detrimental, and it's been extremely detrimental to the citizens of the city of Espanola in the aspect where the county residents have more votes than the city of Espanola residents, and because of the concentration of Espanola and the way it would be population, possibly Espanola could walk away with 2 representatives from the county commission to be on the county commission going forward. So we're also supporting this legislation, obviously, because
What bill is that, Mayor?
House Bill 399. It was just introduced yesterday.
Who is the sponsor?
Representatives Susan Herrera and Senator Leo Jaramillo and Representative Willie Madrid. And it's not just specifically Weiraba County, it's McKinley County. There's a few other counties, and I think that this can really help support the city of Espanola getting better representation. For a long time, I'm not saying this county commission, but in the past, we've had county commissioners who don't believe that the county exists within the city. And so I'm hopeful for this bill to pass and be successful. because I think it'll be a good step forward for partnerships with the city of Espanola and Maryville County. And the city of Espanola having a greater voice at the table for the county commission. And so I wanted to update you about that. I want to thank all the staff and the public's participation with the patience of the relocation from City Hall. We are hoping to move back in on Thursday. This has been a nightmare. Our offices have been uprooted. We've a lot of us don't have phones. We've transferred a lot of our phones to our cell phones. But things are lost in the confusion, and so I'm gonna let Jordan take over on that aspect, but I just want to appreciate the public for their patience on that, and hopefully we'll be in our council chambers for the meeting, probably not the 21st, probably the 21st. Oh, okay, all right. I have nothing else unless the council has questions for me. Mr. City Manager, your report.
Thank you, Mayor. Like you were saying, we will be back in regular chambers next meeting. So everybody will get the chair back and their seat back. We were hoping to be moving in on Thursday. It's probably looking like now it's gonna be Friday. The flooring people did not show up today because of the weather this morning. So they're now a day behind, but they only have about a day's worth of work left, and then it'll be letting it dry. So hopefully on Friday, Jeff and his crew can come in and get everything moved back in. We have the RFP out for the Convention Center, City Hall. That'll be coming to y'all, should be next month for selection of a firm. It is an RFP sealed bid, so when that you can see us. It's kind of it for right now. There's small stuff, but it's getting late, so I will send y'all an email when I get back into my office.
Anyone have any questions? All right, moving on, items proposed for council consideration, discussion items, action items. I'm gonna start with ordinance number 2023-1. This is the first reading regarding officers and employees. This ordinance was first drafted in 1985. It hasn't been looked at for quite some time. Mayor Thompson was the mayor who created this ordinance. One of the things is this ordinance is not very clear because they haven't brought up the aspect of the city attorney and the fire chief. We have a fire chief ordinance that we amended about 3 years ago that wasn't brought into place with this. Also regarding the organizational meeting. The city attorney by state statute is appointed by the mayor, subject to ratification by the governing body. This ordinance also clears that up. City clerk, technically by state statute, the city clerk is the only employee that a city has to have regardless of population. That also is put into this ordinance, that it's appointed by the mayor, ratification by the governing body as by state statute. One of the things that I did create in this is duties and responsibilities. Pretty much tailored to the job description as well as their statutory duties. As well as it being a appointed department director and that clarification. Interesting thing for the police chief, again, the police chief according to state statute is appointed by the mayor subject to governing body, but the state statute indicates it as police officer. Because in some cities it's different, it's not just a police chief, but we understand it as the police chief. The difference between chief of police and fire chief for the other ones is that they shall have at least 8 years of experience in law enforcement or fire protection capacity. And this is another requirement. They shall have at least 3 years of experience in administration in an executive capacity for fire and police chief. So that's something new for the ordinance, tailoring that, as well as laying out their job description, tailored to their job description, as well as their basic principal job duties and responsibilities. The one about city attorney was really important because the statute is very vague in terms of it's appointed by the mayor, but there's no clarification and it's a contract employee. And so this indicates when if there's an RFP process needed to advertise for city attorney service, city legal services, forgive me, instead of city attorney. And then be an independent contractor, it discusses the process for doing that in that process. Mr. Rennick, did you have any other?
Mayor, the only thing that I point out, it looks confusing the way it's drafted. That's because of the
That's because of the way the city code is published and organized with chapters and articles and sections. And because a lot was added here and a lot was moved around in order to maintain the structure of it numerically. Some things had to be moved around. Some sections got deleted because the material was moved somewhere else, but to keep the numbers in order. We said, well, let's delete that section, keep the number, it can be used sometime later. But that's the confusion here. I think that the council knows anything that's underlined is new material. Anything that's struck through is deleted material. And you'll see some of the new, what is underlined as new material in on one page is deleted from another page, but it's the same stuff. If you have any questions, you give me a call, I can walk you through it.
The one that, the fire chief, that one came up when we were doing the appointment of fire chief because there was no actual process. Other than there was an ordinance that's very big that we fixed in 2019, that the fire chief shall be appointed. This lays out that the fire chief is subject to appointment at the organizational meeting. The fire chief wasn't indicated on that originally. We also didn't have it clear about the organizational meeting when it would take place, and so we amended that as well.
That follows state statute also, correct?
Well, the old one, as you can see, it says the organizational meeting of the city council, which shall be held immediately after the election. We can't do that because they changed state statute that you take office now a month after the election. And so, and it also put in there the part about applicable procurement policies for the advertisement for city attorney. So this is the first reading this evening, folks. I hope you get a chance to look it over. Took this from the town of Taos, took this from the city of Las Vegas. Just pretty much laying out as it is in state statute. It's going to be actually codified in our municipal code, the duties, responsibilities, and how we appoint the city officials for the city of Espanola.
Could you give us a timeline on when the second reading will be and when it will come for a vote?
So I believe second reading is next meeting. The question is, do y'all want to push the vote to the first meeting in March, or do you want to do a second reading and vote at the same time? Push it on to the next meeting.
No, well, we have to, tonight we have to walk out of here with when we're gonna do it because we need to advertise.
We've already advertised because of the short turnaround. So the second reading's already been advertised. It's gonna be the vote. Do y'all want to vote next meeting, or do you want to wait and vote the 14th of March?
It's gonna be presented and it's ready to go and there's no opposition to the waiting on it. I feel like it's okay to come with it right away.
One of the things I'm trying to do is before next year's organizational meeting, we need to have this clarified and such, because it was very unclear at this last organizational meeting.
Mayor, one question that I do have, the evaluation process for appointed positions, do we want to touch base on that at all?
Put that in here by code. And we could.
I would just like to see an evaluation process happen at least once a year. I think it's important to have everybody evaluated and feel, you know, that they're doing certain things right. And then I also feel like it's an opportunity to show concern and to get some feedback and to have some understanding about why maybe some things are not happening. And I know that as a member of this governing body for the last 12 years, I have evaluated very few of the appointed positions, and when it's left up to a governing body to say, okay, bring up an evaluation process, it's almost looks like a scare tactic sort of for those that are going to be evaluated. So it's uncomfortable for me to say, I would like to evaluate somebody because I don't want them to feel that way. I feel like it should just be something that should happen annually, either by policy or by not, but I think it's a good opportunity for the council to intermingle with the appointed positions and to sort of have a reset as to our priorities and stuff.
I think so. Okay, so Mr. Rednick, maybe we can put that in there. Maybe in the beginning, opening chapter. the women in removal and layout specifically. Anything else from the council on this action, discussion item? All right. Moving on. Discuss approval of lodgers tax being utilized for Escamilla at the Roundhouse. I'm gonna invite our committee member, Ms. Tini Bustos, to come up and talk about that.
I was gonna have to wait till the end. Good evening, members of the council, mayor, Mr. City Manager. I was asked to participate in coordinating the City of Escamilla Day at the Roundhouse, which I was happy to do. I think it's a great event to show off our home, our city. So because of a scheduling conflict, originally it was scheduled for March 1st, or we thought it was scheduled for March 1st. It is not. It never happened. So we are scheduled for March 15th, which gives us a little bit more time. We will not have to share the venue. If we had stayed with March 1st, we would have had to share the venue and could have only accommodated 8 organizations to accompany us. This way we have the whole place to ourselves, so we can accommodate 24. And we can set the program for that day also. If not, we would have had to share. So so far, as I said, it is set for March 15th. I got a city email today, and I'm setting that up so that I'll be able to communicate with all of you and with the vendors and everybody who's going to be there that day. And as we go along the process, I will keep everybody informed, and hopefully everybody can clear their schedule that day and be there. So far, the only thing we know is we're gonna serve bizcochitos in the morning, and we're not sure about the rest of the day. So, and hopefully maybe mariachis, we don't know, we will be extending invitations also to the governor and our legislators so that we can properly acknowledge them and thank them. As the mayor said, I think they're being very good to Espanola this year, so we better thank them. So if anyone has any requests or suggestions, please reach out to me, and as I said, I'll try and keep you guys in the loop every step of the way.
Mr. Jordan Yancey.
Yes, Mayor, so, I was talking about lodgers tax, y'all can approve this because it's going to fund a city function. If lodgers tax board is there to make recommendations to the mayor and to council on outside entities receiving lodgers tax, basically weighing how many heads and beds is it gonna do, what's it gonna promote. With this,
Promotion's the key word there.
with this, since this is a true city event, y'all can just vote without a board to sit there and say, we want to sponsor this. Currently, there is 2.1 million sitting in a restricted lodgers tax account. And
What are you thinking about the amount? I believe
I think it was 8,000.
we're looking at about that, and so far, we don't have a set budget, but the committee would like to give to all of the legislators, the 125 of them, that pretty little blue book that everybody got, something like that. Of course, city pins, a few little gadgets like that. And then of course freebies to give away to people, and then the rest would go to, like I say, whatever program they want to put together. Maybe we won't spend that much, hopefully not, but mariachis are expensive, food's expensive, everything's expensive, so it's just a ballpark figure.
I think the last number I saw was like 8,500, and I think it would be good if we exceed that, we come back to y'all. But I think that they're gonna be able to get done. These aren't that expensive, and when you order in bulk, they're actually get cheaper. So
Can we have like a nice
Little bag to put them in with all the goodies. Right. I'm looking at like the little mint bags, organza bags that we can put in, and we're meeting tomorrow. Anybody who's would like to join in, we're meeting at 2:00 here in the meeting, in the room you guys were just in. Anyway, I'm looking at something like that. We're working, of course, with Jeremy's assistance with Greta and Dora to kind of coordinate that. And yeah, a nice little bag, something like that. And if I get my way, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, I'd like to order a few more extras in case you guys have other people outside of the legislatures that you wanna have gifts for.
It's a really good opportunity for, I think it's money well spent, even if we spend more than that, because it's our one opportunity to show up there and really shine, right? I mean, I just got the first now. I have to-
Sorry, and so we planned on the schools are gonna bus student leaders from the high school and from one of the elementaries. We talked about the seniors probably taking a bus of the seniors. We'll probably have to look at getting them lunch, so that's one of the money will go towards that too, because we'll have to feed them up there. Just trying to get a good contingent of people to get up there. We'll probably looking, the host committee is Teeny Bustos, Peter Valdez, Miss Joanne Salazar, Miss Debbie Garcia, Miss Greta Trujillo. I want to appreciate and applaud Teeny for stepping up. Jeremy was leading the effort on this, and so as soon as he gave us his notice on Monday, Teeny stepped into the limelight to handle it, and Teeny knows what to do.
She's perfect.
So, yeah, so you know, we wanna make this a good event. All 24 spots have already been taken. And actually, I'm still getting calls, so there may be, as I've informed some of them, we may have to juggle and pick. I don't know, we'll have to make some criteria. Cause some really represent the city well, maybe some not so well, so. Could we split tables? We can, and we've done that with some of them. The thing is, they only give us 6 feet of room for each table, so 2 organizations, unless they're small, that's not much room. But, you know, we'll do what we can to get the most people in that we can, because we want a crowd.
And so I'm hoping that every one of us can be there that day. That would be great. I'll be there at Espanola Day on March 15th. It's a governing body, it would be really important.
And it runs from 8 AM to 3 PM.
Councilor Justin Sargent.
Thank you. Away to their artisan food.
Well,
So carne seca, chicos, pozole.
you know, that can be put in the
One of
packet.
them good baskets, I'm saying, we want money to give food, so.
A few years ago for our downtown action team, I actually put together some baskets, and I only did this not for all the legislatures, just for our legislature and the governor, and they still are happy about it, because I even got some of those, I had scored some of those Espanola Monopoly games. So I gave them each one of those and, you know, other stuff, but yeah, you know, they remember you.
I agree with that.
So
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Lee,
Make a motion to approve an expenditure of up to $8,500 out of the lodger's tax for the purpose of promoting the city of Espanola at the legislature for Espanola Day.
Second.
If required more funding as it gets closer, please make sure it gets on an agenda.
We should, hopefully by next week, we'll have an idea, but I think the most expensive things could be the gifts. And so if we need adjustment, we can probably do it on the 21st. Just we'll have an idea on the gifts.
And if
gotta work
any-
with the books.
Yeah, if anyone has connections with mariachis, please let me know. We've tried a few.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez, second by Councilor Justin Salazar Flores. Any discussion?
Can you put that school list down in that list?
And I don't know if you're there already, but I'll, I will.
I don't believe they do.
No discussion, the motion and a second on the floor, Ms. Garcia, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez,
Yes.
Councilors Dennis Tim Salazar,
The motion.
Justin Salazar Torres,
Absolutely in favor.
Denise D. Benavides, Dorothy D. Valdez,
For the motion.
Aaron J. Salazar,
In favor.
Nanette D. Rodriguez.
Motion carries. Thank you. No further business for this body. Right here tonight. Huh?
Good night, is that?
Happy Valentine's.
Oh, wait.